Hi, I'm JJ McMoon, and I am going to go cross country on a bicycle in 30 days. Okay, so this video is about a training overview. My training is going to get more and more specific as time goes on, because I'm going to be covering specifically what I did that day, or what I'm trying to do that week, the goals I'm trying to achieve that week, and so on. But for now, let's just cover what I've been doing all winter. Now, cyclists have a problem, okay, in the winter, and it's just the same thing the runners have, is that in the winter it is really cold and it's really hard to get out there and cycle. It's a lot of inertia involved in just getting out, going into the cold, much less 20, 30 mile an hour winds. You may not try as hard as you would when you don't have that kind of disincentive to go. So I don't train at all in the cold weather. I don't need to train in cold weather, because the thing I'm going to be doing this summer is in the summer. And I'm going to have some light cold weather gear in case I run into some cold peaks or something in the mountains. But my route's mostly avoiding mountains, so I shouldn't have to worry about that. So I'm not training in the cold. I will have some gloves and so on, in case we get a cool day, but nothing like Arctic temperatures. I'm not worried about that. That's just not what I'm doing. So anyway, so what am I doing all winter? Well, I rely on the gym. I go to the gym, and I've been building up my cycling resistance. Now, the thing is about cycling is that I don't like upright bicycles, to put it bluntly, because they hurt my man parts. Okay, so I don't ride upright bicycles. I ride recumbent bicycles. Now, it's funny, it doesn't affect me on my bicycle, probably because the seat's tilted forward a little bit, but on those recumbent bikes they have in the gym, it's just terrible. I usually have to go to the doctor after using those things. It's terrible. So I use a recumbent bike. Now, the problem with the recumbent bike is my bicycle over there, which you can see, is not a recumbent bicycle. Okay, you can buy recumbent bicycles, but they're thousands of dollars. I don't have thousands of dollars for another bike when I've got a perfectly good bike to go cross country with. So I'm not going to be doing that. So I have to keep in mind that the training I've been doing does not apply to the bicycle that I'm using. So I need to get on real training as soon as possible. And that's what I'm going to be doing very soon, because there's no way to train for going cross country on a bicycle than to go cross country on a bicycle. I don't have the time in my day to ride 8 hours or 10 hours. So what I've been doing is I've been building my endurance enough, going about an hour and a half to 2 hours on a bike when I have that time, about 3 or 4 times a week, racking up about 50 virtual miles on a bike. But I also do it with really high resistance. I really push myself, challenge myself on the hills, because I figure if I can climb hills and get my quads all beefed up, then I'll be okay when I encounter hills in the real world, and I will also be able to handle stretches when I just want to put some miles on. Or, you know, if I get into a state like Kansas, it's known for its crosswinds, you know, I'm going to get, those crosswinds are not going to be good for me. I mean, unless they're at my back, and I don't think they will be, that's not good for me. So my training has been virtual in a gym, and for the first several months I was only focusing on my legs. I mean, I was doing some sets with my arms, but that was more just for the fun of it, releasing tension, that kind of thing. There was no real goal involved in that, because I didn't realize how much your upper body contributes to your biking stamina. And it wasn't until a buddy of mine, Rich Spencer, sat down and told me about that it became really important to me. So that's when I started more actively training my upper body, and really I've only been doing that about 2 or 3 weeks. So my upper body is really starting to feel the workouts now. So what I do, what I typically did in the gym was I would just get on a bike machine, and I would do that for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and building up the levels. And I'm up to 200 to 225 watt hills, alternating for a minute of that and a minute of 100 watt hills. And it does that for like an hour. And then I put it on another program and do it for another half hour to 45 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling, sometimes 2 hours. So that's what I've been typically doing, lower body. And I've started to do hamstring work as well, although I'm not going to be clipping into my bike, so that's not going to be as relevant. You should work out your opposable muscles regardless. I'm also starting to do calf muscles. I've been neglecting that because I've been mainly just focusing on what I'm doing. You want to cycle, you practice cycling. So what am I doing for my upper body? Well, on days when I'm not really taxing my lower body, body, which just wears you out. I get on a row machine it's not like a row machine, it's just more like a bicycle pedal, but you do it with your arms instead of now I do it both my arms now, but I'm holding a selfie stick so I can't. So you basically have both your arms going like this, pumping this thing, and I do that typically for about 40-45 minutes. That really exhausts me, and I've been doing that in sets of 5 miles a piece, and typically I'm doing 3-minute miles, so it's about 15-minute intervals at a higher and higher resistance. And then after I do that, I typically cool down with about a half mile to 3/4 mile walk. They have a track inside the gym that I'm at, and then after that I'll get on the dumbbells and I'll start pumping out sets of pushing it out and pulling it from below. And then on opposing days I'll do pull downs and also push-ups, or not push-ups, the shoulder presses. And I change it up a lot because I find I plateau really quickly when I'm doing weights. It's one of the things that's really tedious. You put in all this work and you just feel like you're going nowhere. So I find that my results are better if I change it up. So I will do some dumbbell presses one day, and I'll just do like 6-8 sets of those until my arms can barely move. And I'll do that with my posing muscles too, pulling back, kind of like if you were to do a row weight machine, kind of like that, but with dumbbells. So you leaned over a bench, pulling the weight up towards you. I'll do those as many sets as I do of the chest presses, and I'll typically do some wrist work as well, where I'll set my wrist on my knee and move the dumbbell up, and then I'll do like that, 2 different weights there. And then on another day, I'll work completely machine weight, or I'll do different exercises. Same place. I'm working my biceps and my triceps and my shoulders. Mostly is what I'm after. My shoulders and my lats, and then my biceps and my triceps is where I'm mostly doing it. And because I do those the hand biking machine, I wish I knew what they called that thing. Because I'm doing that builds up not only cardio, of course, but it also builds up my core, which I'm definitely feeling some strength there too, which is really good. And since I started that like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I've been able to move the level up on my bicycle, so or my cycling. So yes, there is definitely something to be said about upper body contributing to cycling strength. So that's an overview of what I'm doing. As I train going forward, I'll talk more about that stuff, but that's an overview of what I'm doing. So check that out, and I hope to see you tomorrow.